Hello, my name is Anthony Jones, and I'm going to tell you the best shortcut to become an amazing artist. A lot of people ask me how they can become a better artist, and they want to know what was the things that I did, the things that I do to accelerate my ability to become a better artist. And the reality is, the shortcut, that is, the one that I found, is hard work. That is the fastest, most reliable way to become the best artist in terms of what you want to be in quality that I know of. It is the shortcut. There is nothing faster than working really hard. You got to work so hard, and that's going to accelerate you so much better, so much more accurately than anything else. Now, you hear this all the time. People will tell you, work hard. You're like, well, yeah, okay, I want to work hard, but what else can I do? I said, well, that's the point. If you are working hard, you will try everything within reason to become better. And that requires you to work really hard. That requires you to study a lot. That means to actually go out there constantly and try to become a good artist. So the real thing you should be thinking is work hard to become an amazing artist, right? But the real question is, but how? How do I work hard, right? Is there a more effective way to work hard? And I don't think there really is. I don't think that there is like the sure way to become a really good artist by doing this specifically, working this hard, or put in this many amount of hours and you will definitely get there. There's definitely a math to it, and I'm not going to sit here and say there isn't. I believe that there is a amount of time that eventually just you will become good, but I don't know what that time is, and people are still working on that, like really figuring that out. You've heard of like the whole 10,000 hours rule or the 20 hours rule. If you haven't heard of these things, just Google them and you can learn more about them. But this video is going to be more about inspiring you to work hard rather than showing you how. So let's talk about it. Let's talking about the word talent, because this is where I think people start to think differently about working hard, is when they start to consider the word talent as what you have. So when someone comes to you and says, hey, you're a talented artist. When I hear that, I understand the reasoning behind it. I understand that when someone sees you doing something that they can't do, they think that you just have a talent for it. But as anyone who has quote unquote a talent has come to realize, is that it isn't talent at all, right? Talent has nothing to do with why I'm good at what I do. Now, it could in some people's cases, but we'll talk about that soon. But let's go into more definitions. Okay, so natural aptitude or skill. Okay, I am naturally skillful. What does that mean? Right. Okay, let's look at the word skill. Okay, the ability to do something well. So I am naturally able to do something well, and I believe that. I believe that there are some people that can do certain things pretty good from the beginning. Everybody's built differently. Everybody has different capacities. Yes, of course, someone who's taller than me can jump higher than me, right out of the gate. There's nothing that I can argue against that. I understand that. But it doesn't mean that I can't jump high, right? So let's go into expertise, because I think that's a better way of thinking of what we are. We're experts at what we do, right? Expert skill or knowledge in a particular field, right? That's kind of what we want to achieve. I want to be an expert at it. That's what we get paid for. People are not paying you because of your talent. They're paying because you are an expert at that thing. You are an expert Photoshop painter. You're an expert 3D modeler. You're an expert at whatever it is. That not only can you do it really well and effectively and on a certain amount of time, you know how to talk about it. You know how to give feedback on it. You know how to explain to others how to achieve more excellence and more expertise. You're a leader, you're an achiever, you're a creator. And that's not easy. That doesn't come easy. No one's naturally talented is like, I know how to render keyshot frames. Nobody's born with that, But you can learn those types of things. You can become better at these types of things. You can become an expert. So one thing that I like to do is think of what hardworking is as an adjective. Industrious and diligent. I love these two words because that's really what it means. This is what really separates those who achieve tremendous success and those who do not. Industrious is a much cooler word to be associated with what I do and who I am versus talent. I'd rather someone tell me that I am an industrious person versus a talented person, because working energetically and devotedly, I think that's how you say it, hardworking and diligent, right? Working with all my energy and putting all my devotion into this. That is what I am. Yes, I am industrious. I believe that more than talent. And so let's go into some more things, right? Like, let's get into really what hard work isn't. Because I think we all understand kind of what I just said a moment ago. Like, in the last couple minutes, you guys all understand that. But sometimes reiterating and really putting in front of you and explaining it to you in a way where it reminds you is always nice, and it's supposed to inspire you. But I want to give you more. I want to give you examples of what I think happens when people stop working hard, because they forget what it isn't. And they start using what it isn't as an excuse for why they shouldn't do it. For example, it's not easy, it's not fun, and I don't see the rewards. Well, of course, it's hard work. Of course it's not easy. If it was easy, then you wouldn't be working hard, right? If it was fun, then it wouldn't be work, right? And if you're not getting those rewards, then you're not striving to achieve those big rewards, you know? Because everybody knows that these things exist, and these are attached to hard work, but for whatever reason they use them as an excuse. It's like, hey, it's really hard that I can't figure out this anatomy stuff. And I say to them, exactly, so keep with it, you know? Because if it was easy, then we would all know our anatomy. If it was fun, we would do whatever the heck. Like, I don't really like to play the game of basketball, but if I really wanted to be good at it, if I had, like, I saw someone and they had an influence in my life, and they really convinced me that basketball is what I should be doing in my life, even if it wasn't easy to me, and even if it wasn't fun at first, I just knew I wanted to be a basketball player. I would work hard until I became a good basketball player, right? And so what I think should be understood is that you should be resilient with all these things. You should be resilient until it is easier. You should be resilient until it is more fun, and you should be resilient until it is more rewarding. Because until then, it is going to be really rough and it's going to be hard. But every step you take forward, there's someone who stops taking that step forward because it's not easy, it's not fun, it's not rewarding. And this is where you start to separate yourself from everyone else. Because here's the reality. There's a fewer of us, people who really work hard and spend most of our time trying to achieve a tremendous amount of success, than there are people who stop. When it starts to feel a little hard, they get right out. And it's unfortunate, because if they knew that all they had to do was be patient and resilient, that it actually would stop becoming hard, and it will start becoming easier and fun, actually, and more rewarding on a daily basis, because you're much better at it, and it stops becoming hard work and it starts becoming something that you are an expert at. Right? It doesn't come fast, but it definitely comes. Resilience is really good. So let's talk about people, I mentioned earlier, let's talk about people that have, quote unquote, a natural ability, at least according to history. Mozart was considered one of the greatest musicians ever. He composed the song at the age of 5, right? He was like, at 17, he was playing for like all of these great people. And this is a prodigy, right? Like a great talent in the musical world. Well, was he? Or was he, the son of Leopold Mozart, who was actually a great composer himself and was actually recognized as one of the greatest teachers, like in music. He was great at teaching people how to become better musicians. And what's interesting is that when your dad is Leopold Mozart and your older sister, who's also playing lots of music, and she's actually quite competent as well, it's going to be harder for you when you have two great role models in your life. And not only that, not only two great role models, one of them is an excellent instructor. It's going to be harder for you to not become a good musician, right? Especially if you see your father, who you look up to, and your sister, who you adore, doing the things that you kind of want to do too. You want to be a part of that as well. And so that's why Mozart, at the age of 5, was composing songs, because he was surrounded by music and loved it from a very early age. If you give anyone 2 years, devoted 2 years with a great instructor, with great discipline and great passion, they can achieve the same quality as he did at an early age, And Leonardo da Vinci, one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites, but he's a good example of failing a lot. And I have a tremendous respect for that because I've experienced a lot of that in my life, right? And what I love about Leonardo da Vinci is that we all recognize him for being awesome. But we don't recognize that until he was around 46 is when he really got his first real break. He was 46 years old, around there, when he did The Last Supper. Before then, he was known as a really good artist because he went to, he was an apprentice. And at the age of, I think, 15, 16, around his teens, he was like out doing all the other artists there. But the reality is he really was ahead of the game because he's working really hard at a very early age. He spent 6 to 7 years painting before, like around that age when he was a teenager. And if, like I said, if you put anyone for 6 to 7 years at anything and they devote a lot of time, they're going to get good. Like I got good within 7 years, right? I've been painting since 2007, right? And now in which 2014 is right now. So 7 years of me painting like all the time, working really hard, being industrious, right? And this is where I like to talk about him because it's like he spent a lifetime really becoming a great artist. It's crazy. And this is one of my favorite examples. And before then, he really was a failure. He kept on failing. He never finished a painting, and every time he kept on working, it kept on getting pushed back and back and back and back and back. He never got anything done until The Last Supper, and then that's when all these kind of marvelous paintings started coming, and drawings started really just coming out of him. But let's talk about, we were just talking about basketball earlier. Let's talk about Kobe Bryant. I'm not a fan of basketball. I'm not a fan of Kobe Bryant in terms of basketball. Right? I'm not like, oh, Kobe Bryant's the best player of basketball. No, it's not like that at all. But I like using Kobe Bryant as an example, not only in terms of hard work, but just in terms of talent too. Okay? So let's talk about hard work first. So in 1996 to 97, he scored around an average around 500 points of that year, which is marginally small, it's still a lot of points, but not as much as it could be, right? And that could have been because he was first starting out, just straight out of high school or whatever. But in 97 and 98, he definitely had more time. I think they recognized his talent and his ability, and they put him out there, right? They say, oh, he's a talented guy. Put him out there. Put him out there more. And he was scoring 1,200. It was almost more than double what he did the previous year. What happened? Well, maybe he just played more. And from there, he averaged around 1,200 or so, around 1,000 to 1,200 points up until 2005. So about 7 to 8 years, he was staying at this subtle scoring level, right? And I think he just started saying, you know what? Nah. And he just worked his butt off from those 7 years of playing basketball. He went from being a big fish in a small pond type of thing, playing in high school and college. I don't know if he played college. I don't know enough about basketball. But my point is that he eventually came to his senses and said, I'm going to work even harder. I am in the NBA. I must play at a whole different level, work much harder. And the things that he did that I love, when I heard about it, I was reading into him today, which was he used to show up 5 a.m. in the morning and leave at 7 p.m. in high school. He used to just be there more than 12 hours every day he was practicing. That's crazy, right? And then he'd play to 100 one-on-one with his other high school teammates. He'd just be playing. He's like, okay, let's not play 21, let's play 100, right? So let's basically times that by 5. And he would count his made shots until he reached 400. His made shots. So he would shoot until he would make at least 400 points. Or not even points, 400 shots, right? That's a crazy amount of practicing. And then he would work out hard on game days, which means he would go to train and really train himself on a very hard, extensive workout on a day that he was supposed to play a game. He was conditioning himself. And he would also watch himself play during the halftime. This meant that during the halftime show or whatever, he would just play or watch himself play and say, guys, look what we're doing wrong. Look what I'm doing wrong. Look what we can be doing better. And then go back on the second half of the game and play much better, a little bit more educated, right? He would train himself 4 hours a day during the season. In off season, he would train even more. 4 hours a day. That's crazy, man. It's a lot of training, and this is a physical sport. So putting in 4 hours into exercise is a lot harder than 4 hours on one painting, right? But you guys understand what's going on here. And I love this quote. I don't know anything really about Allen Iverson. I know he's a really good basketball player, but I don't know if this quote's entirely true. But it was a quote from an NBA scout in 2008. Allen Iverson loves to play when the lights come on. Kobe loves doing this beep before the lights come on. And so what he's trying to say, this NBA scout, what I love about this, about Kobe, I don't know if this is true, but I like to believe it is, but I like the idea behind it, is that Kobe Bryant plays basketball because he loves to play basketball. It has nothing to do with him being an NBA celebrity. I mean, I'm sure he likes that too, but he plays before and after. He plays all the time, as I gave an example earlier. Right, and again, this is from an article I read. I don't know if all this is entirely true. I'm sure he's changed it up a bit. He's much older now. Who knows? But this is why you see this tremendous growth in his career. And again, it didn't take him 1 year or 2 years. It took him several years to really achieve tremendous amounts of success, to become, quote unquote, Kobe Bryant. All right. So going back to Kobe Bryant for a second. So Kobe Bryant is not better than me at basketball because he's taller, because that's his natural talent, right? That's his natural skill, I guess, is that he is almost a foot taller than me. That means he can jump higher, his reach is longer. He's physically capable right out of the gate to beat me at basketball. But the reason why he beats me at basketball has nothing to do with his height. It has everything to do with his work ethic. It's because he works literally a million times more than I do at basketball. That's why he beats me. If we were to trade skill, if we were to Freaky Friday one day, and I would have the know-how, the muscle capacity, and the strength and ability to play basketball at Kobe's level now, and he had my abilities and physical capabilities, I'm still the same height, and he's still the same height. Like, he still has his natural quote-unquote skill. I just have his ability, his know-how, his training over the years. I would beat Kobe Bryant, right? Because that's the parts that makes him really, really good. So, acronym time, because acronyms help, and I think they're really easy to remember, right? CPR. This is to recuperate your inability to work hard, right? Let's do this. So CPR. So C would mean choose specifically who you want to become and how you want to do it. Like, what is it that you want to do? I want to be a concept artist and I want to work for Blizzard. Then make that who you become, and then you move to the next step, which is prepare and buckle down and work hard, right? Prepare to buckle down. Like, that's the part I think almost is always the hardest part of hard work, is realizing that, in essence, it truly is a tremendous amount of work, and it's buckling down and just doing it, right? And then once you start to do it, be resilient. Resilience is your best ally, and you should trust them, right? You should trust your ally. You should trust them, and that if you keep yourself resilient, you keep yourself patient, and just work through it, you will eventually achieve the success that you're looking for. I promise, right? It's something that I have seen throughout my career, not only my career, not only from myself, from many other people, like many other artists that I've met in my professional career. I've met so many, and we all share one story about tremendous work ethic, right? We just work and work and work. There was a day where I wasn't working hard, and then one day I started doing it. Oh, there was a day that I never stopped working hard, and I just kept with it. Like, these are stories that I hear from my peers. We talk about this type of stuff often, and we talk about those who do not do it, and all they have to do is just stop giving themselves reasons not to work hard and start giving themselves reasons to work hard. Talent, if we really have to use the word and really have to think about what it is, I like to think of it as talent is earned. It's not given. Okay? And so I hope you guys enjoy that little piece of advice, and really this is more to inspire you and really show you and give you some good examples of working hard, because the best shortcut to becoming an amazing artist is really just hard work. Okay? And if you guys want more videos from me, I just released a video called How to Study, please watch that video. It'll go into depth on how to really think about improving yourself and how you can do that more effectively. But like I said before, the shortcut, guys, to hard work, the shortcut to becoming an artist is hard work. So good luck, guys, and I can't wait to see all your progress.